So the Mario Kart World Direct has now come and gone, and the big question I want to tackle in this video is, did it sell anybody who was on the fence for that $80 full retail price? And to be honest with you, just a summary at the beginning of it, a lot of this Direct was stuff that we already knew about in this game, just a more detailed look, albeit with some big confirmations with how different online gameplay modes look and work, and also a more detailed explanation of what free roam mode is, which is not a full-fledged single-player adventure mode like some people were hoping for, but still plenty to do. And as somebody who is way more than ready to play a new Mario Kart, waiting for one over 10 years at this point, as I picked up Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U, I am still very excited for this game, but do want to share all of the highlights and summaries of what we learned at this event and what you need to know if you might want to still potentially pick up this game day one with the Nintendo Switch 2 on that June 5th launch. So we're gonna get on the same page with all of this info. Before we do, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on your bell notification to join Sunbro Nation if you're new here. All right, so Nintendo opened up this with, of course, further emphasizing the fact that this is all one big, giant, interconnected world. The map that we are seeing on screen, we can travel anywhere in between. There were some rumors about whether or not this was one continent of many that were in the icon of Mario Kart World. That may be planned for the future expansion, some kind of booster course pass that comes to Mario Kart World, but that does not look to be the case right now. And I do think that that 30 to 32 total tracks is probably what we are looking at launch for this game, because Nintendo had the perfect opportunity to show off any kind of other unknown areas that we had not seen that was part of that open world, and they did not. However, they did leave out an entire cup, which I will focus in on towards the end of this course's section. But we did get, of course, a more detailed look at Mario Bros. Circuit, Crown City, Salty Speedway, the snowy Starview Peak, which is actually the Starview Peak being my probably highlight, in addition to Boo Cinema. Both of those look very alive and vibrant. Boo Cinema, you're literally like changing your character's appearance into like that old school, 1950s horror style theme, Dracula, all that kind of stuff. It was some pretty cool inspiration, in my opinion, to kind of merge that into a course. And these courses have been reimagined and come to life in a new way, as Nintendo outlined here. They then focused in on some new items which will be included in the game. Coin Shell, which of course we had seen would be an item, but got a really good look at what it does. You throw the shell ahead and it's just going to leave a trail of coins exactly where the shell goes. So you want to be strategic about that and not throw it in front of an enemy, of course, if they are right next to you and they actually end up getting all of the coins to ultimately race faster, because if you're unfamiliar with the coin mechanic, the more you hold, the faster your cart goes. So you don't want to use that on, in, or around certain competitors, but it's a nice thing to have. And a cool new addition to the items lineup. The Ice Flower, which freezes enemies, of course, exactly how it sounds. The Hammer, which what I liked about the Hammer was the fact that not only can you throw a ton of them, but they actually land as wedges in the ground and can stop players by impact. So you can basically create a certain wall where somebody's going to have to swerve out of the way. And I'm pretty sure if you timed that and threw it just right, you could really mess somebody up with the Hammer, which is cool. Kamek is there, which transforms your opponents. And I could not make out if that's really affecting them on a race or gameplay level, like, or if are they slowing down because of their transformation. That part wasn't clear, but they were transformed into a bunch of charging chucks, which was the enemy that was around on screen. So I'm assuming they get transformed into whatever enemy is nearby on the road, if there is one, when you unleash Kamek. What happens if you're not around any enemies or characters? That's a great question we really don't know the answer to. The Mega Mushroom returns, which is a really cool thing for me. I just think from the new Super Mario Bros. Era of games, it's cool to be able to be a mega version of your character, literally crush everybody else. And the Feather, which is probably going to be the biggest item when it comes to strategy and gameplay, because yeah, you're going to be able to hop over red shells, in some case blue shells. You're going to be able to find certain shortcuts and pathways that you will only be able to get to with a hop like that with the Feather. And they did outline that other items will also return. Outfits are going to be a big thing as far as replayability value from the sounds of things. So basically, the long and short of it is these Yoshi's to-go food places that are propped up over the world. You're going to want to stop by as many of those, if not all of them, that you can find as possible, because essentially when you grab a bag and you unlock an outfit, that actually permanently unlocks it from the sounds of things. So you can actually go to your character roster and go to any outfits you have unlocked, but you are going to have to continue to find those Yoshi's restaurants and stop by for one of those burger bags or dash bags or whatever they're calling them, to essentially unlock various different outfits for all of the character rosters. So a kind of a cool confirmation. I'm sure Nintendo's going to go crazy with the amount of outfits that are available, and I'm assuming you're going to have to go to different Yoshi's locations to unlock certain types of outfits. Like certain restaurants will only serve one set of food and not the others. So again, another reason to kind of jump in and basically do the full world open world exploration. New tricks confirmed include the charge jump, which can be used for leaping over obstacles, and then you can obviously get onto rails, boosting over obstacles, things like that. But this is literally like holding down your drift button but going straight forward, and you're just going to be able to get a charge jump where you can release it and you get a small jump. It doesn't look quite as high as what you do with the feather, but you actually get a boost out of it, which means you don't have to worry about, you know, necessarily drifting in order to get a boost. And it's going to be a certain way that you can get onto some rails and some different sections of the track. They highlighted like when the side of the track is out of reach, you can do that boost charge to jump onto it and basically, you know, sometimes find your secret paths and new places to unlock via options that you have like that. The rewind ability was also very interesting because in a real-time race, from my understanding, you just have the option to rewind your character, but of course everybody else around you will still be completely moving forward. But if you missed that specific shortcut you wanted, or you had some kind of grandmaster plan to go a certain way and it didn't work out, you can rewind your own character to a new starting point where you just were, and everybody else still got a boost ahead of you because of that. But I really like this addition for the game. I think for both competitive and just you know, your own play. If you're going, I don't know if this works in free roam mode, to be fair, but that would be a really cool thing if it did, because if you were lining up the perfect jump and you just missed and you don't want to have to turn around and go back, maybe that's an option there as well. But everybody around you does still move in real time, as you would expect. The free roam option was also shown in more detail. So this was the big, is this like some kind of single player Mario Kart adventure? And it doesn't seem that fleshed out. There's no boss battles. There's no, you know, really major things to accomplish in this free roam mode, other than I think it's going to unlock a lot of character additions like items, carts, a lot of hidden things within the world. What they highlighted were these blue P switches are everywhere, and you're going to have to find them to start certain missions. And then the example was basically like you had to complete a certain section of the map in a certain time and basically dodge these obstacles. But you know, hit all the blue P coins, you had to hop across different railways, and then that started a challenge for you, or missions rather is what they are calling it. Hidden coins are layered around free roam mode as well, and hidden panels, and just they basically highlighted and more. A lot of stuff is going to be in free roam mode. It's just going to be mainly that option to hop into to continue to unlock additional features and character options as you continue on playing this game. And I think there's going to be a lot of stuff hidden here. I know we didn't see a full fleshed out individual story mode or anything like that, but I think there's going to be a lot of exciting things to do in free roam mode personally. You can also dive into photo mode. That's not something I will probably spend much time on, but you can get some cool like backgrounds for yourself and share them with friends and stuff like that. And you can link up with all of your friends, because they did highlight a lot of different online stuff. So the game will support 4-player split screen on a single Switch 2 console and local wireless for up to 8 players. This was a big deal because it's up to 2 players per console on each system. So essentially, you can't get up to the full 24, but you could throw a pretty large LAN party where everybody's around, or a wireless party, I guess you would just call it nowadays. But basically, link up 8 different Switches, 2 players on each Switch. You'd be able to have 16 players playing locally with each other in the same maps and games. That's pretty dang cool in my opinion, especially with how game share works and stuff like that. So not everybody actually has to own the console. Pretty sure you can only share to 1 additional console, so every other console would need to own the game. For example, if you're linking up 8 consoles, you would need to have 4 of them actually owning the game. But that's a really cool addition for people who still get together and play these games locally. Mario Kart and Smash Bros have always been staple games for me and my friends when we do actually get together in person. Those are games we dive into almost every time, so I was very excited to see this kind of local play support personally. They did outline as well, of course, that there is some easy mode type stuff. Listen, Mario Kart's going to have a wide range of age of players. If you're starting out in a racing game for the first time, or you're much younger and this seems like a difficult game for you, driving assist controls will also be returning, and smart steering, tilt controls with, of course, the Joy-Con 2 wheel accessory and all of that stuff. All things that were just kind of an expectation, in my opinion, but outlined here nonetheless. And then the big confirmation was battle mode. And I actually still have some questions around battle mode, because it did look like they were maybe playing on different stages or sections of stages. And I do wonder if battle mode will allow you to be in the true open world, like where you could literally be far away from each other but see each other on a mini map. Because if that is the case, and you could go hide out far away on the other side of the map but then still ultimately find the other players you're battling with, that would be a really cool addition. But I couldn't quite make out if they were actually in separate areas that were basically crafted sections of stages for battle mode, or if you can still do this in the open world. But yeah, your 3 balloon system with items, throwing them at each other, as well as just a bunch of different VS race options that they outlined, where you can create your own path of courses that you want to do with up to 24 players and everything like that online. And then you have some local options as well, not up to 24 players for that, clearly. But Grand Prix, knockout mode are the big gameplay races, it sounds like, and the big focal points, but they do have those other battle options that we weren't sure if they would show up or not. So lots of different confirmations. We still only have a look at really the Mario Kart character roster, or Mario series character roster rather, of this. Like, we didn't get any kind of crazy collaborations, as a Zelda character appearance, or Animal Crossing, any kind of, I wanted to see Samus from Metroid. Like, I wanted to see a lot of different characters. Now, my speculation is that Nintendo is going to play the long haul with this game, because of what happened with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and the lifelong sales of that software continuing to sell throughout the Switch's entire life cycle. I think Nintendo will have a booster course pass at some point for this game, and they will trickle out updates and information and essentially continue to support it for essentially the entire Switch 2's console life cycle. We didn't learn about any of that now, but I would not be surprised to see multiple waves of DLC, multiple character packs being added in, and things like that. And they're probably starting this at a lower point in terms of total content than what the game will finish up at, because I do think 30 to 32 tracks, and I should mention briefly, we got an official Rainbow Road tease, but no look at the Special Cup. But I think that we're going to be in that range of tracks, and that's probably the entire game at launch. And then over time, we will get those updates. So obviously, for people that were on the fence for the $80 price point, I don't think this Direct did a whole lot to sell you on spending the money. In my personal opinion, I think this was exactly what it looked like, which was just a very detailed explanation of what we expected from Mario Kart World to be. But nonetheless, for somebody in my position that I've been waiting over 10 years to play a fresh new Mario Kart, and it has all of these open world mechanics and online play modes, I personally am here for it and ready for it. But this is where I want to hear from you guys at this point in the video. Did this event do anything to sell you on this game? Are you picking it up day one? Will you just skip it entirely? Is it something that if Nintendo drops the price of it eventually, goes on sale over time, would that push you over the edge to grab it? Is the 80 just too much? And do you think that there are some extra secrets that we didn't learn about in this Direct up Nintendo's sleeve still? Or is what we saw really at launch how this game is going to look, run, and function? So make sure you share all your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below before you leave, regardless if we agree or disagree. Also, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on your notification bell. And with that, I've been Sunbro, you've been Nation. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.